we've all had a week to digest the news that Mike Tyson is returning to fighting to face off against Jake Paul. Now, obviously, we've talked about, Mike Tyson at one point was the baddest dude in the whole world, one of the greatest power punchers in boxing, period, and that was a long time ago. I mean, we're talking 90s at best. This is now 2024. I mean, we're talking that Mike Tyson is about to be 60 years old, fighting a guy who has been training consistently for the past 6 years, day in and day out, has his own gym where he lives, and is surrounded by some of the best trainers, nutritionists, a guy who is over 30 years younger than him. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think a lot of people, think of the old Mike Tyson and see the stuff of him on his pads, which we're gonna break down in this video. And I want to talk about, some of his pad work. Of course, it's fucking Mike Tyson. I'm not here to critique Mike Tyson. Who am I to do that? But I'm only here to point out some of the holes that Jake could take advantage of, some of the things Mike Tyson is really good at, and what the game plan overall should be for both guys. I've already done a video talking about this fight. I think it's terrible that this fight is going down. It's going to be happening July 20th in Arlington, Texas, and there's nothing we can do about it. I really hope the fight does get canceled, guys. I'm not joking. I really do hope the fight gets canceled. If something happens, or Mike Tyson, something with his team, hopefully he can't fight. Maybe it's something with medical. I really hope the fight does not go down. I'm praying day in and day out that this fight gets canceled. Now, will it? That remains to be seen. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but most likely this fight is going to go down. And there's been a lot of rumors with head guards and things like that. Will that help Mike Tyson? Will it help Jake Paul? We're going to get into all that and more. But first, I want to remind you guys to subscribe button, like, comment, and share, guys. We're almost at 12K, guys. Like I said, guys, at the beginning of the week, we were 500 subs away. Now we are about 200 subs away. You guys have been killing it with the sport. I cannot thank you guys enough. So hit the subscribe button and support the channel. And let's talk about the fight. So we got the news last week. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. We already talked about it. Of course, Mike Tyson is a lot older. I don't think he's going to be able to handle Jake Paul. If this was a prime Mike Tyson, obviously Jake Paul would not stand a chance. You know what I mean? Jake Paul would probably last 30 seconds in there and that would be done. Because Jake Paul is not good. I mean, Jake Paul is average, right? I think Eddie Hearn said it best. Jake Paul is average, and that is not an insult. Being average is something that most people are not going to get to. I'm not average, you know what I mean? There are so many people that are not going to get to the average level, and for Jake Paul to actually achieve that in 6 years and be pretty good is actually really impressive. But Jake is not top tier, right? Jake isn't, a high-level boxer going up against champions, things like that, at least that we've seen so far, and I don't think we'll ever see that. But that's just my opinion. That's for him to prove me wrong, especially on the trajectory that he is in, going to each nursing home, finding all the old people to beat up. And we're gonna get into Mike Tyson real quick. Like I said, Mike Tyson, I don't know why he's doing this fight, bro. This guy has had so much success with the Hot Boxing podcast, but let's move on, guys. I can go about this for hours. But let's take a chance to look at Mike Tyson's pad footage that he recently posted, his first day training in boxing, for this camp, of course. Let's take a look at it because a lot of people are now saying Mike Tyson has a chance. All right, so Mike Tyson posted this on Wednesday. It's footage of him on the pad. It says, "It's day one, the fun has just begun." And yeah, we're gonna look into this footage. Let's first watch it and let's take a look together. Obviously, a lot of power from Mike Tyson, as you'd expect.
Day one, the fun just begun.
Oh, God. Like, who told him to say that? Like this is the most scripted thing. Like, you can just see Mike Tyson looking after, just looking away right now. Point is, though, a lot of people might be looking at that footage saying, wow, you know what? That actually looked good. And it does look good. For someone that's 57 years old, I mean, not many people could do that in the world, let alone a 57-year-old. So, it is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But we're talking about a fight with Jake Paul. Like I said, this guy does train in and out. He's been training for 6 years. Like, don't doubt Jake, right? I know he said he's not good. I'm saying he's not good in terms of fighting championship level. He's average, and that is still pretty good compared to most people, and I think average enough to beat Mike Tyson. But let's look at the footage even closer. All right, so let's take a look. Obviously we see a jab coming from Mike Tyson, slip, and a body shot. Now, I do think that a body shot is going to be important for Mike Tyson. We've seen this time and time again. I've talked about it on the channel. Jake's main defense is putting his hands up and backing up or clinching. And it does work against certain MMA fighters, right? It works against Nate Diaz, a guy that doesn't have a lot of power. But against a guy like Mike Tyson, even at 57, is going to hit hard because, like we always talk about, power is the last thing to go. So if hypothetically Mike Tyson is able to catch the target, which is Jake, he could knock him out. But there's a big if there because he has to get to the target, and that is the problem. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I think working the body for Mike Tyson is good. I mean, we haven't seen really Jake's heart yet. Jake hasn't really been tested. I mean, yes, he did lose to Tommy Fury, but let's be honest, Tommy Fury isn't exactly the devastating puncher, right? Other than Tyron Woodley, where he rocked him, we have not seen Jake Paul really in much trouble in his boxing career, and credit to him. I mean, maybe you could say, hey, it's because of the opponents, but regardless, we don't know what it's going to look like when he's really hurt in the ring, when he's hurt with body shots, when he wants to give up, when he's completely gassed. What does Jake do in that moment? Does he reach down and, become a fighter, or does does he resort to, you know, living in the mansion, doing the YouTube vlogs? Like, what does his mind go to? Is he tough enough for it? And we could find out those answers, but just not in that fight, because Mike Tyson is not going to make Jake Paul question those things. But hypothetically, you never know. Maybe takes him lightly. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to justify this thing. This is just fucking crazy. And we see here, look, a lot of slipping, and obviously that's going to be a big problem for Mike Tyson getting on the inside. I'm going to talk about that later on in this video. But look, we're going to see more. You see just right hands to the body. I think the body work is going to be very important, and this just speaks to the power, right? I saw this earlier, right, guys? Pay attention to this. All right, so we see Mike Tyson, look, land a body shot, and look at his face. I mean, this is with that body pad on. I mean, look, he looks like he is in devastating pain. Like, the power that Mike Tyson's just happy. I mean, look at him right there. But this guy looks like he's in pain, and that just speaks to the power Mike Tyson has. Like I said, he does have power. I want to say don't sleep on him in this matchup, but let's be honest, the guy is not going to win this matchup, and let's talk about why. I think we've seen enough of the pad footage. Look, we get it. He's going to slip. That's his thing. I do think we could expect Jake Paul to try to land on the temple if he truly is trying to knock out Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson, you know, normally comes at you, he comes at you with a very unorthodox style, you know, covering up his chin, opposed to having his hands by his eyebrows or the side of his head. And back in the day, you can get away with that because, look, he is so fast at slipping and things like that. He was able to get away with it, and he also has such an unorthodox style with his power, with his aggression, with his speed. There's so many question marks about Mike Tyson that it's hard to back him up, because you got to be backing him up, and that's hard because normally you're trying to back up against Mike Tyson. But nowadays, now that he's old, you know, the hand-eye coordination is going, the speed is going, the athleticism is going, and more importantly, the chin is going. So that's gonna be a big problem for Mike Tyson. Can he actually land on Jake Paul? Can he get in fast enough? And my thing is no, I don't think that's going to be the case. The thing here is that if Mike Tyson was a normal heavyweight that was very tall, very big, and had a huge size advantage, I'd say, okay, maybe this guy could stand a chance, maybe he can get lucky. Mike Tyson is 5'10", Jake Paul is like 6'1" or something like that. The reach is in favor of Jake Paul. The height is in the advantage of Jake Paul. The youth is in the advantage of Jake Paul. He's going to be faster undeniably, at least in terms of footwork. I mean, honestly, with his hands, I'd probably say controversially, Jake Paul is probably going to be faster, seeing Mike Tyson is 60. But Mike Tyson did look good on those pads, so look, I will say maybe there's a possibility he's faster. But my point is that yes, if Jake Paul is up in a position where he's up against the ropes and he's covering up and Mike Tyson's able to wail off on him and maybe he can land a shot, that's the game plan here. That's the only way I see Mike Tyson even winning this fight. However, Jake Paul at that point would have to become a big punching bag, because this pad video proves nothing. Nobody is doubting the aggression of Mike Tyson. Nobody is questioning his power. We all know he has power. The question here are the other attributes. And the pads, yes, it answered the speed, it answered the power, but we're here for other things. How does he react to punches? How is his gas tank? How fast is he going to be at covering the distance at 60 years old? How's his chin gonna hold up? There's so many big questions that we don't know, and the pads are not gonna answer that. The pads are never going to answer it unless we see some sparring footage from Mike Tyson. Maybe that could answer a few more questions, but we're not gonna get the questions from pads. When this matchup came to light, I knew that Mike Tyson would look like this on the pads because he looked like that 4 years ago, and yes, 4 years is a big difference, especially when you're considering that this guy is 60. But point is, I expected something similar to this, right? And I didn't watch this footage saying, oh my god, Mike Tyson's looking amazing, Jake Paul doesn't stand a chance, and neither should you, because Jake Paul, what he's gonna do is he's gonna use his jab, and he has a good jab. He's gonna use his jab, flick up his jab, and when Mike Tyson gets close, he's gonna hold him. Jake is probably not that far apart in size in terms of Mike Tyson, so I think he's going to be able to hold him, especially with the wrestling background, and try to land that shot. And I predict that he's going to land a right hand as Mike Tyson is coming in. Maybe lands it on the temple, maybe it's an overhand. I think we're gonna see Mike Tyson badly hurt. My prediction for this fight is I think that this fight is going to be a really sad watch, and that's why I don't want this fight to happen. If you guys saw Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort, I think that fight is going to be very similar to that, where Vitor Belfort was facing Evander Holyfield, a guy that was a legend in the boxing scene, beat Mike Tyson twice, and was coming back out of old age on short notice too, which was very questionable of the Florida State Athletic Commission. But my point is that Vitor Belfort knocked him out in the first round. It was very embarrassing. I mean, Vitor literally went out there and started wailing on him. Evander Holyfield fell down and just fell down multiple times, and it was just a TKO, and I think that's what's gonna happen. Maybe Mike Tyson will get sparked out cold, but something similar to that will happen. And honestly, Mike Tyson could get sparked out cold. That isn't impossible. And I think that everybody's just gonna be watching it like, damn, that's sad. And I don't know what Jake's thinking. This is a lose-lose. Either he loses to a 60-year-old man, or he goes out there and knocks out a handicapped Mike Tyson and just looks pathetic. And Jake Paul, this is a pathetic move, dude. Move on. Do not fight this guy. Fight somebody good. I mean, Vidal Riley is a couple spots ahead of you in the rankings. Take on another bum if you want, and then fight Vidal. That would be a fun fight that I think a lot of boxing people would actually respect you for, including myself. If you fought Vidal Riley and, you know, built it up, two of those guys are both big prospects in boxing, plus you got the fact that Vidal, you know, trained KSI. You could do it in the UK. That would be a big fight, and if you beat Vidal Riley, I mean, I think that just makes statements about KSI, and I think he doesn't even have to fight KSI anymore, and it helps him go on the pro boxing path. But the truth is he doesn't. The truth is that he wants to pretend to be a fighter. He wants to pretend to be this real boxer. If he wants to, you know, seek out the challenges yourself, because this is just just a sad, pathetic look, Jake. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my video talking about UFC 300 and why that card is a little bit disappointing. And also check out my other video talking about Dustin Poirier, what's next for him, what fight I think should be next for him. A lot of people were surprised with my answer, so go check that out there. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Make sure to click the link in the description to join my Discord server, and I'll see you guys in the next one.